I'm calling the City Council of City of Palm Beach Gardens to order. Will you all please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Mayor Jablin,
Here.
Vice Mayor Levy, Councilmember Russo, Councilmember Primoroso,
Here.
Councilmember Tinsley.
Before we start the agenda this evening, I am very saddened to report that in the past several weeks, our community has lost three outstanding individuals who I would like to acknowledge and honor this evening. First is James Mandel. He was a Palm Beach Gardens CMP. Jim was one of the early members of our CMP police volunteer group dating back to 2005, and he continued his membership until very recently when he took leave of absence. Jim worked in several different CMP areas, including patrol, elder crime, follow-up, children's fingerprinting, and many more. Jim passed away on July 1st at the age of 87. In addition to his wife, Betsy, he's survived by a long list of family members and an even larger number of friends here in Palm Beach Gardens and around the world. Jim was retired from the U.S. Air Force after more than 20 years of service, including several years as the pilot in command of Air Force One for President Lyndon Johnson. He also spent more than 20 years in corporate aviation, including time with the Mobil Oil Corporation. Jim will have full military honors and burial in Arlington National Cemetery. He chose not to have any local funeral services, and in lieu of flowers, the family suggests donations to the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. Judy Keller. Judy, at age 72, joined the CMPs in 2007 and continued her membership until her passing. Judy worked in patrol, civilian fingerprinting, evidence, and most recently was in charge of the HR files and the VIPS, the Volunteers in Police Service. She was named the Volunteer of the Year in 2014. Judy passed away on August 4th with her son Jeffrey, who is here in the audience this evening, at her side. In addition to her son and his wife, she is survived by a brother, Paul, two grandsons, and a step-granddaughter. She was preceded in death by her loving husband, Daniel. Judy was a graduate of Michigan State University and had a long and successful career in sales and marketing with General Motors. A memorial service will be held on Friday, August 14th at 11 a.m. at the Abacoa Golf Club located at 105 Barbados Drive in Jupiter. Memorial contributions can be made to Trustbridge Hospice of Palm Beach County. And James Woods. James was the vice mayor of the town of Haverhill, who lost his battle with brain cancer at age 57 this past Sunday. Mr. Woods served on the Haverhill Town Council since the year 2000. He served as council president from 2002 through the adoption of the revised charter in 2009, when he became the town's first mayor to be elected among his peers. He stepped down from the position of mayor in 2011 to serve as vice mayor. He gave countless hours to the town as an elected official for over 15 years, expecting nothing in return other than to call Haverhill his home and to preserve the small-town feel of what he referred to as Palm Beach County's best-kept secret. Services will be held on Saturday, August 8th at 2 p.m. at the First Baptist Family Church downtown at 1101 South Flagler Drive in West Palm Beach. In respect for these three fine individuals and dedicated public servants, could we please have a moment of silence? Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry to have to always report these things. It's part of life. That's part of the cycle. Okay, let's get back to the agenda. excuse me 1 minute. I've got to find all my paperwork here. We have no additions, deletions, or modifications. We have no announcements or presentations. Items of resident interest and board committee reports. David, you want to go first?
Hi.
Thanks.
Well, I've been debating whether to bring this up because it's not really an item of resident interest. It's more of an item of David Levy interest. I have another photo in the photo contest at the state parks. So if you'll go take a look at it, it's the last one on page 2, and I would appreciate your vote. Seems like I'm going to be saying that a lot lately. But yeah, it's a picture of a shell. So I won the June contest, so I'm hoping to also win the August contest. On a little bit different, more resident interest note, I do want to say I went to the Palm Beach League of Cities meeting, which was held on July 22nd in the town of Lantana. And we had a presentation by the Superintendent Robert Avosa, who's a very impressive individual. I feel like our schools may be in great shape with some of the ideas and plans that he has going forward. We also talked about the Palm Beach County Housing and Places of Public Accommodation Ordinance, where we gave a county a no objection. We also had committee reports from Florida League of Cities. The one that I'll tell you what they are: energy and environment, quality, finance and taxation, growth management, transportation and intergovernmental relations, and urban administration. The only point that I want to bring up is the growth management. Did not, Marcy, you remember you had discussed that law dealing with giving zoning to a property just because the zoning within 3 miles was that. That was not on their radar, which surprised me because I don't think there's a bigger threat to home rule than that particular rule. So I went ahead and mentioned to them to put that on their radar, that the City of Palm Beach Gardens has a great concern about that particular law. If it should pass, it would take away the zoning of our western tier, both from us, the county, and other communities. So I was very concerned about that. So
Absolutely, and I'm surprised because Treasure Coast really has been monitoring that a lot. So
I was
they have
surprised
not.
too. So hopefully that will be taken back up to the League of Cities. Their meeting, of course, the general meeting is at the end of this week. So hopefully that will be back on that committee's radar. With that, I'll pass it on.
Marcy?
All right, well, if Joe was here, he would fall off his chair, but actually this month I have nothing of importance to report. First time ever. So we can move on.
That loud thunk that you heard is Joe in Saratoga falling off his chair.
I can hear him clapping right now.
Yeah, Bert, you have anything?
Yeah, I just have 2 items. One, I'd like to thank the Budget Oversight Committee for our meeting last month, chaired by Dr. Marciano and 4 other members. We had a good spirited debate about the potential upcoming budget for next year. I think we had over 40-something questions that Alan, Mary, and the accounting team had to address in discussions with the committee. So a lot of good discussion, a lot of good things happening. So you'll see that next month as the budget process comes forward, and then we look forward to their recommendations and their review. And also, I'd like to recognize the Honda Classic, as we pretty much do every year. I know Joe, if he was here tonight, he'd be doing this as well. But the Honda, again, had a record year to the area for contributions from their golf tournament, over $2.5 million again. And it just shows you really the magnitude that this tournament and the state power that it has now, because even though we had a washout on Saturday and attendance was down this year, their contributions back to charities was up. So they do a great job marketing this event, not only here in the county, but pretty much across the U.S. and worldwide based on viewership and participation. So we're thankful the Honda's here. We're thankful for the things that they do. And we look forward to next year's tournament and more good news for our area. Thank you.
Thanks, Bert. I have nothing. So, yeah, well, it's summer. It's slow. What can I tell you? City Manager, you have a report?
Yes, sir. Mayor and Council, wanted to bring to your attention that you may have had the opportunity to see the Palm Beach Post article on July 17th about Gardens Digital Agenda Saves Big. In our city clerk's office, there was an effort for us to become a little bit more efficient and allow easier and better access to the public. A switch was made from going from paper agendas to electronic agendas. Now, this was done back in 2002 when we were doing 3-ring binders in somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 pages per meeting, and it was the way things were done then. So we're not doing that anymore. We're now putting these agendas on the thumb drives for the council. They're online for the public to read with all the backup material, everything as far as the agenda backups are concerned, and they can view online. During that process, since about 2002, it's estimated that we saved almost $900,000 in that process by going paperless. With that, I'd just like to congratulate our city clerk and her staff for bringing this about, and I appreciate having the acknowledgement that we've saved that much money and become that much more efficient, as well as more transparent for the public to be able to see everything that's being said and done. And don't forget, we're streaming online. The streaming online is something that can be viewed, while the council meeting is in progress. It's something that can be viewed at your leisure and pleasure, and it's agendaed to the point that you can basically scroll down to any item on the agenda and pick that up and read it. And we've been live now for a while, so we're very proud of that, and I just, again, like to recognize our city clerk and her staff.
Ron, I'd like to add something to this. I actually don't get a thumb drive. I go online and get the agenda.
Good.
So I get just like
Saves
anybody
us
else can.
even more money. We can save those thumb drives.
That's the same thing with me, but I also want to say that, a lot of people talk about transparency, and this is one way that our city has really improved on transparency. Even when it comes to all of the bids, and you'll see a lot of them on our agenda tonight, we've talked about it in the past. We all have our own individual meetings with staff, but that has even improved greatly over the last couple years that I've been here anyway. And as far as the bids, if you look at the agenda online, like we all do and we just discussed, each bidder and their proposal and the whole entire process is online, and it's done in a very organized fashion. This last couple months has been even more organized than before, so it's improving every single month, and I think it's an excellent source for our public.
Yes. No, Eric. Okay. We go on?
Yeah.
I'd also like to recognize the fact Palm Beach Gardens Fire Rescue received a 2015 Lifetime EMS Silver Recognition Award. This is the Heart Association recognition level. They recognize the vital importance of our emergency medical personnel in this city, providing very successful outcomes of severe heart attack patients. And as a result, they have met some established standards and criteria, and they have been awarded and recognized with this silver award. Next year, we're hoping if we get the silver award 2 years, we get the gold award. So let's see if we can get that gold award next year, Chief. But thank you very much, and please thank the personnel for the excellent job they do out in the community serving our residents. I appreciate it, and thank you. And once again, and I know you're probably used to this, I'm pleased to announce that our finance department and staff have received a Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for the 18th year in a row. That's the highest form of recognition that can be given in a governmental budgeting, and it represents a very big achievement and reflects the commitment that the staff has at the highest principles of government and budgeting. Budget documents have been rated proficient in all 14 of the categories required. And once again, Mr. Owens and Mary Anderson Pickle and staff from the Finance Department, you're doing a wonderful job for 18 years in a row, and we want to thank you very much for this distinguished award. And last not least, a little surprise for Max. Yes, we're aware that you've achieved the Florida Bar Certified Specialist status in city, county, and local government law. This certification helps to ensure that those lawyers who serve as counsel to governments are equipped to meet their vital role of constitutional rights and rules of law. Also, these certified lawyers commit to a minimum of 60 hours of continual legal education for the next when they get recertified for the next 5 years. Currently, there are 250 members of the Florida Bar who are certified in city, county, and local government, 250 in the entire state. Now, you can imagine how many lawyers there are in this entire state, and only 250 are certified. So I'd like for you to join me in congratulating Max for this achievement.
We're going to have to start calling him Bob. Where'd Robert come from? That's my name, Robert. How could you drop that? I'm offended, my friend.
You want to call him Robert from now
I'm
on?
calling him Robert.
All right, we'll all call him Robert from now on. That's my report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the chief, because Chief Stepp invited me to a conference last week to make some opening remarks to, and I can't remember the name of the association. Chief, tell me. You got a microphone right there. The FBI.
It's an FBI conference for
It's an FBI conference. It's a retraining organization, correct?
for all the upper command staff around the state that have graduated from the FBI Academy.
And his staff did a phenomenal job in putting together an absolutely terrific conference. I was there early in the morning to give them a welcome, and I was very impressed by the organization, and I believe that all these people really enjoyed being here in Palm Beach Gardens, and are always looking forward to coming back because we have such phenomenal facilities. A lot of these people come on vacation here and do that at the same time. It's a family thing as well. So you and your staff did a phenomenal job.
Not the first time they've been here. They've been here a bunch of times.
They've been here before. I think they were here about 4 or 5 years ago. 2007.
I gave that same welcoming address.
Did you?
Yeah.
A very well organized conference. There you go. And I also wanted to recognize Candace and Eric for the website. I know last month we talked about the unveiling of the website. Since then, I have been through it extensively, and I got to tell you, this is one of the best websites I have ever navigated. It's really terrific. You guys did a phenomenal job in getting that put together. I was really impressed by it. Very, very easy to use and beautiful as well. So I encourage all of you Palm Beach Garden people to go on our pbgfl.com and take a look at what these two individuals have created for this phenomenal city. You will be very proud of that. I want you to know that. And thank you all, okay? Next is comments from the public for items not on the agenda. I have three. First one is Kevin Easton. Kevin, you want to come up?
Good evening. For the record, my name is Kevin Easton. My address is 8511 40th Terrace North, Palm Beach Gardens. First, I'd just like to say that I am no criminal, but that you people treat me like I am a criminal because you just don't listen to me. As an example, I would like to cite the speed limit issue that we had a couple of years ago. For years, I asked the city manager and the council to change the speed limit to 25 because we were part of the city. You guys kept saying, sorry, we'd like to help you, but we can't. Well, we finally got the right answer from the county because I went to the county, and now the speed limit is 25 miles an hour. Yet the city manager or the city attorney did not bother to research this over the years, and if you go back through the council records, you'll hear me many times ask to have the speed limit changed. Okay? I also heard the city manager at one meeting that we sat in said, nobody down there wants good water about my neighborhood. Okay? Well, I put in 3 surveys, and 3 surveys proved that we did. You guys did a survey, and it showed that it did. Now we're supposed to be moving on, but you guys still don't listen. Okay? Before I open up my mouth, I usually listen and I do my research. unlike a lot of times around here, it just seems like people just don't listen. For instance, I heard Councilmember Tinsley say that last month that you held charrettes and workshops now for my neighborhood project. Well, I remember going to the charrette, but I do not remember being invited to any workshops. I've been here many times. Okay? I asked for workshops. We never got them. I'm the one that actually asked for the workshops. I also asked that the city forester be involved in this project and that the planning and zoning board be involved in my neighborhood project to make it the best possible. Yet neither of these people were involved, okay, or none of these people were involved. Okay. Today my tenant told me that I was holding up this project. She'd called and some lady named Kathy told her that Mr. Easton was holding this project up, and I don't see why. I believe that the pipe was delayed being ordered by 1 month, and I believe the city was supposed to order the pipe, and from what the guys told me, it wasn't ordered, okay? So I'm not the one that's holding this project up. But you know what? We move on. We're trying to get this stuff done. Let me see here. You have already, though, in the 30 years that I've lived down there in that neighborhood, the county never put a cul-de-sac in. I guess they didn't feel a need. But you figured it out, a way to get the owners to do it, okay? Even though there really is no real need, okay? I am very angry and disgusted that you killed yet another tree, and Joe is not here tonight to verify that staff was directed to look into seeing if we could save those trees. I never heard back from the city, and they snapped that tree down, and my girlfriend went to jail trying to protect it. And I think that was criminal, okay? Because nobody, and I called David that day, and he said he heard nothing, okay? Now the only question I have is, you require developers to replant the trees that they remove. Well, I want to know what you're going to replant and replace the 100-year-old strangler fig and the 180-year-old tree that you've taken down now. And if you get the 250-year-old tree, I want to know. That's it. What are we going to do? What are we going to replace these with? And are you going to listen to me?
Thank you.
What's the answer to the question?
I don't have an answer for you, Kevin.
Well, why not?
Because
That's
you
the
just
thing is,
asked me a question I have no information on.
I come here and
Hey,
ask
Kevin,
questions all the time, and I never
Kevin.
get the answers.
Okay, well, maybe we'll get you one. I can't get you one right now.
Thanks.
We're in legal.
Same with the speed limits,
We
right?
are in legal proceedings.
Sorry to help.
with-
Sorry, I'd like to help
We are
you.
in legal proceedings with you. I cannot comment, okay? Thank you. Carol Courtney.
Carol Courtney, 8511 40th Terrace North, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. I have tried several times to plead and beg. Doesn't do any good. This isn't going to do any good. I've listened to the recordings in the past, and nothing I say, nothing seems to really matter. You're going to do what you want to do, so I guess I'm just going to try sarcasm. You got 2. I know you're going for 3, so great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have to stay in case you wanted to say something to me? Nobody? Can I go?
You have 2 minutes and 17 seconds
Oh,
left. You want to
okay.
take them
No,
or
I can
not?
just stay in here and stare at you.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Oh, I had an idea. Why don't we have a moment of silence for the 2 trees that you made mulch out of? I'm done.
Okay. Mark Marciano?
For the record, Mark Marciano, 10 Sheldrake Lane, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Just a couple of quick comments and questions. I don't mean to beat this issue. However, the land adjacent to City Park, 117th, I know that there's been some talk from the council and the county about what to do with that parcel. And I know the council wanted to wait and see what the county wanted to do. Has there ever been any discussion, and I don't know the answer to this, that's why I'm asking, any ever discussion about breaking up the parcel and maybe seeing if the county would be willing to sell a portion of it, a small portion that would be maybe adjacent to City Park that would really solve the city's problems in terms of fields and also not requiring such a huge financial outlay from them or from the city. I don't know if that's an option, and I'm just asking the question. And I'm not expecting an answer right now either. So if anyone could get back to us. And regarding the Budget Oversight Committee, just for the sake of transparency, we are having our final meeting this coming Thursday morning, 8:30 here in the council room. I'd invite anyone to come. It would be great to have more people. I think in the 4 years I've been on the committee, I think we've had 2 public members come. We are here. We are members of the public like everybody else. We are not elected officials. We're just residents that show an interest. And this council, this committee that we actually have now, has probably been the most diligent group of people that I've served with on this committee. And a lot of kudos to our city staff to answer all those questions. So Thursday morning, 8:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your service on that committee, and thank the others as well. Yes, you do meet every month. It's posted, and anyone can come to those meetings. They are public meetings, and I'm surprised not many people have availed themselves of that opportunity, but such is the fact, and maybe it's because we're doing such a good job. Sometimes when things aren't going well, people are more vociferous, but I take it as a compliment, actually. But if anyone is interested, please come to those meetings. It's on Thursday. What time? 8:30. And Bert is the liaison. You're there, are you? Okay. Okay, moving on.
Mr. Mayor, may I
Sure.
just make a comment also? All of the committees, and there are many that the city has, all of the committee schedules are on the website. The times, the dates, there's a wonderful calendar that the city website has, and it shows all of those dates. So we encourage public participation in every committee meeting, not just the budget. But this is another thing that the public is very welcome to, and we would love to have you there.
You know, as you look on the website too, you'll notice not all the meetings are in the morning. I know some mornings are tough, but there are Parks and Rec in the
Park and Rec is at night. Yep.
P&Z's at night. So there's other things too besides all morning meetings.
That's a good point.
Okay. I was just handed another comment from the public. Joe Ellen Williams. Sue Ellen. Oh, I'm sorry. Sue Ellen Williams. Please, come up.
This is about the proposed
Just
training.
get name and address for the record, please.
10873 Magnolia Street, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Thank you. Thank you. Go.
This is about the proposed police training facility that I read
Yes.
about in the paper. I think over $2 million is rather expensive for the city of Palm Beach Gardens. We're not a crime-laden city, for one thing. And for another thing, if we do this and our policemen get trained, then they'll say, well, gee, I'm more experienced, I want more money. So that'll cost the city more money, and it'll also cost them more for their retirement.
Okay. Thank you. It's an interesting observation, but this training facility is a training facility, and anybody who's been watching the news lately, everybody has seen what's happening across the nation with police training and the call for more police training. This project has been in our pipeline for months and months, long before any of these incidents happened, frankly. And it just shows to me, and I hope to all of us, that and to you, that we are a cutting-edge city, and that we have recognized that training is very important when it comes to police activity in our city. We are not a crime-laden city or jurisdiction, but that's not what this is all about. This is training our officers and our staff to do cutting-edge policing, and we want to be in the front lines of this type of activity.
Say one more thing.
You do have some time, so come on up. I didn't really want to engage into a conversation. I just wanted you to know why we're doing this.
Okay,
We're not
I
doing this
understand
to
that,
spend money.
The main thing is, if the police would just use a little common sense, instead of saying, hey, I'm Superman, you got to do exactly what I tell you, then that would be a different story.
I understand that, man, but policing is a highly technical enterprise. It's not as easy as it looks, believe me. It's not a uniform, it's not a gun, it's not a taser. It takes a lot of training to create an officer in our police department, and we want to be at the cutting edge of that.
How many other
Enterprise.
cities have this facility that costs that much money?
Someone said not enough. Truthfully, that's not a conversation I think we should be having here. We're doing what we're doing for the best, for the benefit of the residents and the north end of this county. And I think we're doing the right thing, and I think all of us are in agreement. So thank you for your comments. I truly appreciate it.
I'd like to weigh in just a little bit on this. One of the things is an officer has split seconds to make a decision in these life and death situations. We want that officer to have the training to make that decision quickly without hesitation. And the other thing is, as I've looked around what's happened in other communities, if we have an officer make one mistake because he's inadequately trained, the lawsuit will cost well more than this facility does. So I think that this actually is a cost-effective way of ensuring that we have the best police force that we possibly can have, the best training. And believe me, we do not want to be engaged in a lawsuit because an officer has not had the proper training. And at least this way, we know that we're going to have the best police force that we can have out there. And personally, I think our citizens demand that.
And just to wrap, I'm sorry, I just wanted to get one thing in, and that was that the nearest training facility in this area is in Martin County. That's a long distance away, and it takes up a lot of staff time going up there and coming back. So this is going to save money in the long run. Marcy.
I just wanted to, just not to belabor this even more, but the key is safe. And we not only want to keep our officers safe, we want to keep the public safe. And we've had instances in the past where our officers have done an amazing job of doing just that. And the reason is because they put so much time and effort into training. And this facility is a state-of-the-art facility that's not just training officers how to be officers. It's training them to be aware and cognizant of the many different situations that they will be put in, unfortunately. So it's a wonderful facility that's going to be shared by not just Palm Beach Gardens, by not just Palm Beach Gardens Police, but the fire department and other municipalities have the opportunity, or will have the opportunity, to utilize the facility in the future. So it's something that we've talked about. We actually had a wonderful presentation about it a few months ago. I wish you were there, but it is something that you can look online. We have information as well from the past presentations and the staff reports from that.
I think we do have a good police department.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, I think we do too, and
Unlike
that's
some
why we
other
want to keep it that way.
Governmental agencies around that I don't think much of. But are we going to charge other people
Yes.
that are not in our city?
Yes. They will defer costs. It's not a money-making proposition, but other agencies that use it will pay their fair share.
Well,
Okay, I hope we've answered your questions. I really think this is a very important thing that we're doing, and we're doing it tonight. So thank you very much for your
Okay.
for your questions. I appreciate it. Okay, turn my mic off. Okay, next is the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
interrupting
For
again.
all that move?
I need to pull Resolution 37, 2015, the tactical facility, from the consent because I need to recuse myself.
Okay.
Which one's that?
Which
That's
one is it?
C?
C.
Item C, correct?
Move consent with the exception of item C.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 3-1, 4-0. Pardon me, 4-0. Now, next is Resolution
No, it's
37.
it's 3-0.
No, I didn't recuse myself on
No,
consent.
Oh,
It's 4-1.
Okay,
No,
you're
it's
4-0. You got it
Now
right.
the clerk will
Now
read
the clerk will
Resolution
read
37,
resolution.
They do teach math at Florida State.
And I would like to recuse myself from the same thing, item C, Resolution 37, because the company my husband works for has been on the design-build
You
team.
filled out a form?
I will be doing that.
You do. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, Resolution 37, 2015. Clerk, read the title, please.
Resolution 37, 2015, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, awarding a contract to Siska Construction Services, LLC, for the design build of a tactical training center, authorizing the city manager to execute all documents necessary to effectuate such design build contract, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you. We don't need a presentation on this. We've all seen this. So, Chair will entertain a motion on Resolution 37, 2015.
Move Resolution 37, 2015.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 3-0
Okay.
with one recusal. Okay.
Moving on quickly.
Tonight, we are holding quasi-judicial hearings on the following cases. Resolution 31, 2015, Alton PCD, formerly known as Brigger. Resolution 33, 2015, Ballin Isles PCD Amendment. Resolution 34, 2015, FP&L PUD Amendment. This means that the City Council is required by law to base its decision on the evidence contained in the record of this proceeding, which consists of the testimony at this hearing, the materials which are in the official city file on this application, and any documents presented during the hearing. The Council is also required by law to allow cross-examination of any witness who testifies tonight. Cross-examination may occur after the staff, the applicant, and other participants have made their presentations and will be permitted in the order of the witness's appearance. It is necessary that anyone who testifies at the hearing remain until the conclusion of the hearing in order to be able to respond to any questions. If you plan to testify this evening or wish to offer written comments, please fill out a card and give it to the City Clerk. City Clerk will now swear in all persons who intend to offer testimony this evening on any of these cases. Thanks.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay, first is Resolution 31, 2015, Alton PCD. Will the clerk read the title?
Resolution 31, 2015, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, approving a community design elements package for the Alton Plan Community Development PCD, including monument and neighborhood signage, entryway landscaping, additional accent walls, decorative street regulatory signs and lights, pedestrian seating, amenities and art, and the multimodal shelter for the east portion of the Alton PCD, located south of Donald Ross Road, north of Hood Road, east of Interstate 95, and west of Central Boulevard, as more particularly described herein, providing conditions of approval, providing an effective date, and for other purposes.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing. Any ex partes? None?
None.
None. Okay. Petitioner presentation. Mr. Tuma.
Good evening. Ken Tuma with Urban Design Kildare Studios. My address is 610 Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, Florida, and I have been signed in. I'm here tonight on behalf of Coulter for the Alton project. What we have before us tonight is a community signage and design element package. The intent of this application, it's a miscellaneous petition. There's one waiver request. I have about 20 slides to show you kind of the flavor of what the design is going to look like. But what the goal tonight is to pull together Alton so you'll be able to understand both all the pieces of the puzzle of Alton from a design standpoint, and then also to set the guidelines going forward. And it's been a long time since this council's had to take this type of action. I think the last time was probably Old Palm. So the idea here is to create a package that going forward so everyone knows the rules of the road within this project. So you know the history of the property. Before you is the initial slide of the approved master plan today. Here's the project history. The most relevant history was back last year in 2014. 360 townhomes were approved in neighborhood 1 or parcel C. That project is moving forward. So today, from a construction standpoint, a lot of you don't get the opportunity to get up in the helicopter and see this area was about a month old. You can see Alton really starting to take shape. So along where my mouse is Donald Ross Road. This is Alton Road going through the center of the project. Over here is Benjamin School, and this is where Granda Flora. And I know my friends from Coulter are here will tell you this picture doesn't show a bunch of houses that are being built out there. So things are moving forward very quickly in that area, and landscaping starting, as you've seen from the road. So the project's moving forward. This aerial's about a month old. So the community signage, I want to show you kind of just a quick view of the plan of what's being proposed. This is the entrance monument in perspective view for the community. It's Alton. Now, in a more of a section view, I'm going to talk a little bit about the materials that are being used. It is a Corten steel format and around the back. The letters are, excuse me, the letters are, the concrete is a Mesa beige, and the letters are pushed back, and there's some, and they're LED lit, backlit. So it's a really neat aspect. So again, from a perspective view, here's what it looks like. You'll notice the beige exposed concrete, and then also the Corten steel, which is a common theme throughout the community, and then the push-through letters. So there are two locations for this sign, one on the entrance of Donald Ross Road and Alton Boulevard, the other one at the other main entrance on Hood Road and Alton Boulevard. The subject site, and so now when you look down on it in plan view, the plan view shows the sign, this Corten steel. You'll notice that there's purpling lantana on the front of the project, and then working back. Now, the goal, oops, excuse me. So the goal of the sign is to create this nice, well-fitting in with the rest of the Alton community that you've approved. The intent here is to create this design aspect so it's consistent throughout the entire project. So this is looking down on it. Here's kind of another plan view, so you kind of get a feel of what's happening with the landscape that's part of it, the oak trees on both sides, the horsetail reed grass, the medulls, just to give you kind of an idea of what that entranceway is going to look like. Here's the sign during the day. This is a sign at night. It has a really neat look. Now, we are asking for one waiver, and this is the waiver that we're asking for. And the waiver is for this particular sign and the one on Hood Road. The way your code works, it says, hey, if you have a sign that's 10 feet high, you have to have 10 feet of green area or landscape on both sides. Our request is to reduce that down so that median doesn't get much wider than would normally be. This is consistent with what's been approved in other communities. Just to give you some more pictures of what's happening so you kind of get a feel of scale, people walking. Now, there are other entrance features at Granda Flora, which is the road by Benjamin School. These signs are smaller in scale. The sign is 5 feet long and approximately 5 feet high. Same design concept, just at a smaller scale. Looking at it in plan or looking down on it, the sign itself fits right here, but you'll notice that there's this nice green sodded area, and then there are the tan and cream pebbles, and then this really neat jasmine blueberries with uplighting. And here's what that will look like in the night. So as you pull in, going through Benjamin School, on the right-hand side and on the left-hand side, there'll be this Alton, very low scale, but very pretty and very formal entranceway. And again, the neighborhood monuments are exactly the same material that the other signs being built out of. In the neighborhood itself, you've already approved, Mr. Hearings here, you approved the neighborhood number 1, and that had a sign associated with it but didn't get built because it wasn't approved because we weren't there with a signage plan. We're proposing the same low-scale sign within that community. And here you'll see the Alton sign here. The intent of this approval, again, is to use the word Alton in all of the parcels, all the residential parcels, and then the low scaleness of it will keep it very well formed within the community. And what we're asking for tonight is approval for this for the entire roadway, but we're not showing you where they are because those will come in with the individual site plans as they come forward. And here's that same sign at night. The commercial monuments and the other monumentation, so there are other forms of projects going to be coming in for this site. The commercial monument signs, which includes both both Parcel B, Parcel A, and the Town Center District. Those signs, we're requiring that the future buyers of those use the form of these type, either have the Corten steel or the exposed concrete. But what we're not doing is saying they have to follow the exact sign. The idea here is so they have the elements, but let's say you have a big corporate user has a different sign who wants to come into parcel B. They will have that ability, but they have to implement the design elements with it. So the idea of that is to allow it to come before you, but first it has to go to the property owners association. So Coulter and the property owners association have to approve that sign first. Then you get the opportunity to review it sitting as city council as part of a site plan review process.
Ken, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yes, sir.
Since you're talking about big corporate users, do you mind taking your, and show us where
Where there might be a big corporate user.
there might be a big corporate
Right,
user?
kind of in this general area right
I
here.
heard something about UTC or something like
Right.
that. It's in that corner, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just keep going, sorry.
That's all right. So a couple other, and I'll be short, there's only a couple other community design elements. This shows the multimodal stop, and you'll notice that the neat design here for this shelter that's being proposed. This shelter is 10 feet wide, 20 feet long. It provides coverage anywhere for anyone if it starts raining. It allows people to get out of the sunlight. It's a very nice and unique design, and of course, it ties in with the rest of the design theme. There are accent walls proposed throughout the community. You'll notice here identified in blue are several accent walls. The accent walls are 18 inches high. Again, they're the beige concrete with exposed aggregate finish, consistent with the rest of the community. You'll notice them on this slide on 4 spots. And here you'll see them kind of in plan view or in perspective view real quick. And then here they are on the Alton access road. So basically, here there are accent walls on both sides of Pasteur, which is that main entrance into parcel A and B. So it has 150 feet in both directions. Again, they're 18 inches high, just to create some definition. And Pasteur has it also. Alton Road has additional accent walls, particularly in this location. Those accent walls are here. Again, 18-inch high accent walls with grasses and jasmine and oak trees to help identify them. The regulatory signs, similar to other communities within Palm Beach Gardens, the regulatory signs aren't going to be a typical stop sign that has a metal bar and has a stop bar on it. Again, trying to tie everything together. You notice that the Corten steel feels on the 2 signs on the left-hand side of the screen. On the right-hand side is that exposed aggregate for the taller light poles that have to be made out of concrete. The ones on the left are wrapped in that Corten look. And this is the street light and pedestrian lighting that's proposed throughout the community. I know you've seen this before. Seating, there are several spots for real interesting seatings. Again, keeping with that cutting theme, you'll notice a different type of benches that are being used throughout the community. I think you saw this pretty neat little in neighborhood number 1 or parcel C. And here are some other seating that's going to be throughout the community. The multimodal station itself is in front of you. The station itself, kind of looking at plan view, again, it's 20 feet long, 10 feet wide. It creates the opportunity to get out of the sun and the rain, and it has these really neat designs and paver characteristics throughout it. And this is opposite on the other side of the road, so because there's going to be a plaza, so it balances both sides. So on one side will be the multimodal station, on the other side will be the Alton Road Plaza. There's an informational panel within the multimodal area. This is the informational panel. Again, everything tying together, color, Corten, beige, concrete, exposed concrete. Bike rack, again, has the same idea. The Corten finish. Sculptural fencing. These fences are approximately 6 feet high. They're located in one area within the community. They have lighting, uplighting on them to make them look really great at night. Again, that same kind of design concept. And that's my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. There's a lot of information in your packet. I just went over the highlights.
Any questions?
Yeah, Ken, I probably should have brought this up before, but I didn't notice it. Can you go to the schematic of the larger sign?
That one?
No,
Oh, you
no,
want the
the plan view with the dimensions. There's something in there that confused me. Maybe I just saw it wrong.
that's coming.
Sorry, make you go all the way back. Somebody else will probably want one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I didn't see this right. But on the right side of the sign, to the bottom of the sign is 6'4". Okay, I did not see it right. Okay, so that's 6'4". And this over here is 3.6 and 2.5. I thought that line continued forth, and you had an error in your mathematics, but it's okay. All right, thank you.
Marcy, you have any? No? Okay. Staff? Thank you, Ken.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Peter Hoffine, City of Palm Beach Gardens Planning and Zoning Department. I have been sworn in. Here to present staff's presentation for Resolution 31. The applicant did a very thorough job explaining all the details, so I'll keep my presentation as brief as possible. The request before you is essentially for two things: a master signage program for the entryway signage in the residential districts, including the neighborhood in the town center, and for hardscape elements that add additional artistic and sense of place to the overall Alton PCD, so that when a resident or a visitor enters, they know that they're, within Alton. You're familiar with the background, the location. The material board, as the applicant went over, Core 10 steel, acrylic glass, exposed aggregate concrete, the tan and cream and black pebbles. Again, it just helps create that overall sense of place and feel that the master developer would like to create in Alton. The community monument signs, these signs are located in the roadway median of Alton Road. The applicant showed you the two locations at Donald Ross Road and Alton Road and at Hood Road. The signs are incorporated into an overall hardscape feature that has the planter and the grasses. The Grandiflora entry monument signs, much smaller in scale than the larger signs at the main entrance of Donald Ross Road and Alton Road, but again incorporated into open space area on the north and south side with the Japanese blueberries, the grasses over the low wall. The neighborhood monument signs, there's two signs up for approval for the first neighborhood in the town center this evening. The other signs will come before you during site plan review and approval. But this is the design that the applicant has proposed for those signs. Again, incorporated into the low wall that was a big feature in Neighborhood 1, a bit understated and surrounded by landscaping. They are proposing entryway landscaping at the entrance to the PCD at Pasteur Boulevard and at Donald Ross Road, at Cathedral Live Oaks, the accent wall, muley grasses. It just gives a formal identification to these entrances. The additional hardscape and accent features that they're looking to incorporate, the applicant went over all of those. The additional accent walls, the pedestrian seating, the decorative signs, the sculptural fence. Again, adding visual interest to the road, preserving that sense of place that the applicant would like to create. The multimodal shelter, an artistic design, two large shelters. Any direction that a rider stands in can protect them from the elements. It's much more than just a bus stop. It's a multimodal plaza. You can see that the plaza has been made out of pavers. It's got an information kiosk, trash and recycling receptacles, bike racks. So again, not just a bus stop, but a much more broader facility. The applicant is requesting one waiver tonight. The city's signage code requires the landscaping on the sides of ground signs to be equal to the height of the sign. There are two signs that are located in the roadway median of Alton Road are restricted on the sides by the size of that median. However, they are exceeding the code requirement for the landscaping in front of the sign and to the rear of the sign, which features a large planter, the medjool palms, and over 100 square feet of planting material. So staff is recommending approval of that waiver tonight. And staff's recommendation is approval of Resolution 31, 2015 as presented.
Thank you, Peter. Any questions of staff? Yeah, go ahead.
A couple things. and I should have asked in my staff review, but it didn't dawn on me until after, and I tried to look at the drawing, but it got a little blurry when I blew it up so large for me to actually see it. How far, approximately, how far is the large sign on Donald Ross Road from like a lane of traffic? It would be east-west lane of traffic on Donald Ross Road.
So
How far is it set back?
Can you pull up that big sign again?
Yeah.
No, that one, yeah.
So this is the sign you're referring to, Councilman?
Correct.
So between the front of the sign and the tip of the median is
that.
just over 18 feet. So with the 6-foot crosswalk to the right-of-way line, probably looking in over 30, between 35 and 40 feet.
Okay. And when you're measuring the height of the sign, do you go to the very, very top, or the sign itself, not the structure?
So the sign itself is incorporated into the hardscape planner feature. So in this case, the size of the sign is measured just as the core 10 steel cabinet, which has the letters on it. So the total height of the overall feature is
14 or
13 feet 8 inches.
Plus, right? But the sign itself, the way you would measure it is if you were to put a rectangle over the actual words, and then that's the way you
Right,
measure
the actual
height?
cabinet itself is 6, 7 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
Pull that one back up again. Just one
The
question.
popular one.
Schematic?
This one?
Yeah, one question on that and one concern I have on the signs in general. In terms of the planter below the sign, why is it kind of under like the middle of the sign? Why couldn't it be moved to the right to really display the sign outright with nothing around it or no growth coming up from behind it? I mean, is that,
This part of the...
yeah, that part, why isn't that moved over maybe 6 feet to the right? Why? I mean, I love the generalization of the sign being by itself, that the planter, that stuff grows up a little bit. I know it's going to be cut and probably not going to happen, but to take away really from the focus of it all, is that the way you want it designed? Come on, Ken, I got to give you a challenge.
Sure, thank you.
I'm not a landscape architect like some people. I got to...
Councilman, so I think the question you're asking is why didn't we extend this?
No, why isn't it to the right, away from it, away from the sign?
Oh.
Yeah.
In other words, why did it end up under?
Because that thing is going to grow
Sure,
up.
I mean,
It might,
it's a balance issue, right? So it's basically cutting the sign a little bit to the 25% on the east side. So it was really just a balancing as a reason why we did
All right,
that
I just-
in the look standpoint. I mean, we all have different
I don't want
perceptions.
anything near that sign. It's so beautiful, and especially at night, I don't want anything disrupting the view of that as people drive by. Just my opinion.
And although a good question, I think that it softens the sign because it
See,
has
that's
a
you're
lot
a
of
landscape
the
architect.
concrete
I'm
and
a
the
banker.
steel.
I like the
think
way the other. I want it to be
landscape
shining out there with lights on it, looking
I think
pretty
it
by
actually,
itself.
I could ask.
it's a good visual
No, I'm just curious.
contrast.
I could
all.
ask
I mean-
7 people here, and I know I'll get 7
No.
opinions, but we like this.
Okay. The other question I have, if you don't mind, is
Yes, sir.
with regard to the signage of the other parcels, staff might, I have a staff, if you got, are we going to have issues with the Alton signage being on the other properties? Because I know when companies come in, patents, trademarks, their signage to kind of fit it into this mold might not be attractive to them, or would it still be a kind of a sign out on the street, if you will, but on the building could be their actual patent or trademark signage
Yes.
that doesn't fit to this?
Yes, I think that was the
Plan.
intent of this package, was to encourage future users to utilize the same materials, yet provide that flexibility so that they could incorporate their own design, similar to how the MacArthur Regional Signage Program has worked, where they've incorporated similar themes but have enabled for variation. And if there's ever a corporation that comes that doesn't even want to fit within these materials, there still is flexibility, because they could still come before you all and ask for permission to deviate. And that has happened in the past with the regional center too. So there's flexibility in the event a major corporation wishes to have their own look.
That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? No? Seeing none? Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Yeah, it's open. It's open. Seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing and bring it back up for a discussion or a motion.
Move Resolution 31, 2015.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0.
Gotta get used
I got to get used to it because it's always 5 and I get... Okay.
Take the
next
derivative of the,
Next is Resolution 33, 2015, Ballin Isles PCD amendment. Would the clerk read the title, please?
Resolution 33, 2015, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, approving a planned community development PCD amendment for the Ballin Isles PCD, which is generally located on the northeast corner of Florida's Turnpike and North Lake Boulevard, to consolidate approved property development standards and amend select property development standards for all residential communities within the Ballin Isles PCD, providing an effective date for other purposes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, Donaldson Hearing here tonight on behalf of Ballin Isles and Ballin Isles
Before you
Community
start,
Association.
this is a public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing. Go ahead. We've got to declare the ex partes. Any ex partes? None.
None.
None. Okay, go ahead, Don.
John's ready.
Thank you,
You're ready,
thank you,
I know.
Mr. I promised Brian Seymour I'd be fast.
as long as he doesn't say, "I'll be brief."
Well, I won't. I said I'd be fast. Here tonight on behalf of Ballin Isles, I know I've got Roma Joseph and some others who have been working on this project for many years, and we've been working with staff to try to clean some things up. Ballin Isles, as you know, is an older community. It consists of 33 different individual parcels on about 1,300 acres, and these parcels were approved many years ago, one by one, basically under the same regulations that exist today, but the processing wasn't necessarily as sophisticated as it is today. And as a result of that, a number of the various parcels have differing land development regulations. In some cases, where we talk about, let's say, building lot coverage, well, it doesn't define what the individual building lot coverage is on a lot. It just kind of suggests the lot coverage of the overall parcel. So what this process has been one where we've been able to go through and evaluate each of the 33 development parcels that exist, to look at the various land development regulations and to identify the appropriate regulation that should be established for that parcel and put it together in one clear, concise table, which provides for predictability. It also will encourage the community to look at opportunities for fostering redevelopment in the future. As you know, Ballin Isles is very forward-thinking as they look at their community and looking at ways to enhance the community. Their fiber project that's underway right now is a great example of that. So staff spent countless hours, our team spent countless hours looking over all of the old site plans, surveys, aerial photographs, and conducting various analyses to basically demonstrate what we thought the lot coverages were and to establish the appropriate lot coverage and various land development regulations that should occur within the site. And we're very thankful for that, and I know that Roma is very thankful for all the effort of both the staff and the city in this effort. So with that, I won't talk any longer and would ask for your support. This was unanimously approved by the Planning and Zoning Board, and I look for your approval this evening. Thank you. That was fast.
Thank you, Don. That was very good.
That's record.
That was, staff has a presentation? Very brief, okay.
Before Joanne does her presentation, I would like to publicly thank her. She has done a tremendous job on this petition. Her slides are brief, but it doesn't capture nearly all the work that she's done. She has pulled permits out of dry storage. We have looked at aerial data to ensure that we're not creating any nonconformities for any single home in Ballin Isles. So I just like to thank her for all of her very hard work on this petition.
I'll echo that, Joanne. You did a great job because I've seen this at my review, but this is very similar to what happened in PGA National, right? And it's an older community, and we're trying to get them. And I know the records are way down there. So thank you, Joanne. Go ahead.
Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Council. Joanne Scaria, planner with the Planning and Zoning Department, for the record. I'm presenting Resolution 33, 2015, a PCD amendment for Ballin Isles Community Association. Ballin Isles, as you're aware, is comprised of 33 different site plans throughout the PCD, and each site plan was approved with its own standards for structural setbacks, pool, deck, and screen setbacks, as well as lot coverage. And this project basically was an effort to consolidate all of those standards into one master table and to make slight adjustments for overall consistency throughout all the parcels. The table will provide for clear and consistent guidelines for any future building permits that the residents may want to pull. This table shows the first page of the table, which basically has all the information from each of the 33 different site plans in a clear and organized fashion, and notes on any amendments that have taken place since they were originally approved. The PZAB recommended approval on July 14th, and staff recommends approval as well.
Great job. Any questions? No? No questions?
Just a comment.
Sure. Wait. I'm sorry. We can't take questions like that. I'm asking for the council's questions.
It's really just a comment, and I just want to say I do appreciate this matrix. Having been in the land planning business, I know how hard it is to put something like this together. So I absolutely appreciate all of your hard work. I think it is precedent-setting, and I think that it is something that we should look towards doing for future master plans like Alton, for example. This format is a wonderful format, and I think should be used in the future.
Ma'am, I haven't closed the public hearing yet, so if you'd like to make a comment, you can come up to the microphone, fill out a form, and after you speak, and we'll be happy to take your comments. Would you like to? No? Okay. All right. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back up for a discussion and/or a motion.
You know, there are issues that come before us. Rarely is there one so clear that will help so many residents and make so much sense. So with that, I'm going to move Resolution 33 on 2015.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you. Next is, by the way, are we going to, do we need to do the same thing for Mirasol, or is Mirasol that young? Or, are we planning to do something like that? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge really becomes with some of the older communities where some of the standards weren't memorialized so clearly. With the newer site plans that we approve, we do go through more of a very detailed effort to delineate everything on a site data table. So Mirasol, given its age, has pretty good data. But if the community association ever took it upon themselves to want to do something similar, they could always do so.
Just a question. Thank you. Resolution 34, 2015, Florida Power and Light Company. Please, clerk, please read the title.
Resolution 34, 2015, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, approving a planned unit development PUD amendment and major conditional use permit for the Florida Power and Light Rider Substation, which is located on the north side of PGA Boulevard, 1 mile west of Ryder Cup Boulevard, is more particularly described herein, in order to allow the construction of a wireless telecommunications tower and related structures, providing conditions of approval, providing a waiver, providing an effective date, and for other purposes.
I'm not going to start talking until
No,
you
you're
call
not going
the
to start
public hearing.
talking until I open the public hearing and declare any ex partes?
None. Well, no, actually, I did talk very briefly to Brian before the meeting, and I did talk to Don Kizalewski, called me on this issue.
I did speak with Mr. Kizalewski.
I also spoke with Don, and I'd like to put his title in for the record. He is the Senior Director of External Affairs at FP&L. Congratulations, Don. It's a beautiful title, like being in banking. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. You know, something else, too. I know we all got an email from a doctor who's in Mirasol. I can't remember his name. You didn't get that?
We got an email, yeah.
Dr. Davidoff. I believe I got the same email, and I spoke with Don Kizalewski Jr., okay? Petitioner presentation.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the Town Council. For the record, Brian Seymour with Gunster on behalf of FPL. I'm going to try to be brief. If I can be briefer than Don, I'll be very happy. If I'm not, it may be a first. What we have here, I know. Don actually made sure that he was going to get home for the debate. The Senior Director wanted to be home for the debate for sure. What we have is a property that FPL owns just west of Mirasol and PGA. that currently is a power station, substation. So what they're looking to do tonight is put a monopole tower there to fill in the gaps of coverage that exists out in the western portions of Mirasol and PGA. What you can see on this is the probabilities of service. And then with the tower, you can actually see the gap being filled in with that green by comparison, providing much greater service to the folks who live in that area. What we've got is an existing site. We're going to add just a few things to it, the tower and a couple of structures, as well as some landscaping. The main thing we looked at was what's this going to look like from the existing homes. What you can see on the left is the red star of the location of the monopole tower. And we took some pictures from each Mirasol and PGA National. From PGA National, this is what it would look like from the end of their road now. This is what it will look like with the tower, which we've outlined for you because it's otherwise very difficult to see, which is kind of the point. I will run the cursor over it, theoretically. There it is. Right here is the tower that will be put in. So as you can see, it's already going to be covered by the landscaping that's there. Similarly, looking from Mirasol, you can see that this area here is where the top of the tower will be. It's a 100-foot tower. It will meet all FCC regulations. It will meet all FAA regulations. And this is just an amendment to the PUD to allow for the tower. There is a waiver for the height of the structures that will be the housing for the materials for the tower so that it can operate. None of that's actually visible from the road. It's not visible from any off-site. We're adding some new landscaping towards the park, so while it will be slightly higher than would otherwise be permitted by code, that's not visible at all. Really, all you're going to see, like I said, from the homes particularly, is that, if anything, slight piece at the very top of that 100-foot tower. So that's the presentation. I'm pretty sure I was even quicker than Don was tonight.
How close is the closest home? Like, let's say Mirasol,
The closest home,
distance-wise?
so the closest home in Mirasol is approximately 1,540 feet,
Oh, okay.
and the closest home in PGA is about 1,230 feet.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Will
Okay,
this
staff?
improve the reception for gopher tortoises in the slough?
I don't know about gopher tortoises, but the birds that I saw in the commercial who lost their coverage,
Yeah.
they'll have better coverage
have
when they
better
come down
coverage,
here.
It's going to increase the coverage for anybody who's living in a tree.
Okay.
Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Well, actually, I'm a little surprised. If you go back to your coverage map, I'm a little surprised. It looks like there's very shoddy coverage in the western portions of both Mirasol and PGA.
Yeah, there's actually, my in-laws live in that area of PGA, and I have to go outside of their house to talk on the phone if I need to take a call, which I'm sure makes them very happy, but this will actually provide a lot better coverage. in
Yeah,
these
I'm a little
areas.
surprised. Please go ahead and show that coverage map again. I'm a little surprised at how poorly the coverage is out there.
So this is the current coverage. Again, it's the green will be high probability of indoor service. So the yellow, you've got the outdoor service in those areas. Yeah. But what we're doing is, and particularly as people are getting rid of landlines, you've got the coverage for the indoor service, which is what that green gives you. So you got a lot stronger coverage, a lot better for everybody who lives in those areas.
Bring a lot of coverage into a lot of residences' homes that they're not getting now.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Okay. Thank you. Brian, appreciate it. Staff presentation? Anything? Very brief. Joanne?
Good evening. Once again, Joanne Scrio with Planning and Zoning Department. This is a request from FP&L for their Ryder substation, which is out west on PJ Boulevard. It was approved in 2001, and the applicant went over the proposal, so I'll just skip to a little bit more details regarding the waiver. Note 64, the note for wireless telecommunication equipment, requires that the related unmanned equipment structures on the ground be not more than 8 feet in height. The applicant is proposing structures that are 12 feet 5 inches, which is a 4 foot 5-inch waiver. Staff is recommending approval because it will not be very visible by the public. The structures themselves are a little bit taller than code allows, and they're also elevated a little bit due to being adjacent to a dry detention area. So staff is recommending approval.
Any questions, staff?
Yeah, one very quick one. Because we're elevating these structures, are we reducing the footprint? Because they're taller, we're going to have a smaller footprint?
No, the area itself will not change. They're just on a platform.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking though, maybe you're building the equipment. Why are they taller? Is the equipment taller today? Do we need to change our code to accommodate new equipment, or
I don't know if we can hear.
well, yeah, but if we have them further east and they have to be this tall, then everybody that's going to come in is going to need to get this.
In this case, it solely has to do with the platform because it's on the retention area. It's
Okay.
not the equipment per se, but in order to take care of making sure the retention area and the drainage is not adversely impacted, it's platformed up a little.
So this is to prevent
site
flooding of
specific.
the facility?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's site-specific. It has-
Correct.
Yeah, in that area. Okay, got it. Any other questions? Okay. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back up, close the public hearing, bring it back up for a motion or discussion.
Move Resolution 34, 2015.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 4-0. Thank you. Now, you can all go to the debate if you want to. Next are resolutions 26, 2015.
Resolution 26, 2015, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, updating the schedule of fees and charges for various services rendered by the City of Palm Beach Gardens for its citizens and other members of the public for fiscal year 2015-2016, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Staff presentation.
Good evening. For the record, Alan Owens, Finance Administrator. Resolution 26, 2015. This is our annual review of our fees and charges that we do every year to make sure that we're adequately covering our costs and that we're in the market. Actually, we have some fees that are recommended to decrease. This year, plan review, the minimum charge being recommended to be reduced from $50 to $25 to try to encourage more smaller projects and jobs to come in and follow the process. As far as the schedule of permit fees, the first two tiers, you see some very slight recommended increase offset by the recommended decrease, the highest, the third tier. The reason behind this is that the first two tiers, that's where staff spends most of their time in dealing with inspections and reviews and those types of things. So trying to align our cost with the fees that we're generating. Also recommended to add an annual facility permit fee for $150. This could be utilized by large entities like the Gardens Mall. Instead of having to come in and pull multiple small permits over the course of a year, they can come in and do one annual fee, a permit for a $150 fee. Would be more efficient and cost effective for those businesses. As far as the stocking training fee, it's currently a flat $300. Recommending to go to a two-tier system of $300 for smaller businesses, and for anything over 5,000 square feet, $750. Application or permit extension renewal fee, currently it's a flat $50. We'd like to go to a tiered schedule, $50 for the first extension, $75 for the second, and $100 for the third extension. The idea here is to try to encourage projects to rapidly complete their project and finalize things so they don't linger out there. Engineering hourly rates, you can see before you recommended slight increases ranging from $10 an hour for admin support up to $20 an hour for the city engineer. Again, this is based upon market analysis. Engineering permit fees, right-of-way permit, recommending to decrease from 7% to 5% of the total valuation. Again, this is try to encourage most of these types of fees that come in, permits that are being pulled are very small things such as driveways, so we're trying to encourage those types of small projects to come in and follow the process. We have two new fees, $50 each for dog-friendly dining, annual renewal inspection, and also a live entertainment annual renewal and inspection that's recommended. We are adding a convenience fee. There's been a lot of interest in people wanting to pay online via PayPal. We've checked the actual cost to do this. It's 30 cents per transaction plus 2.2% of the total transaction. So all this is simply pass through, if they choose to do this method of payment, pass through the cost to them. And under fire department, recommended to change for the outdoor fireworks display permit, the minimum charge from 2 hours to a 3-hour minimum. And staff recommends approval of Resolution 26, 2015.
Any questions? No? Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back up for a motion.
Move Resolution 26, 2015.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 4-0. Next is Resolution 28, 2015, Community Development Block Grant. Very exciting stuff. Staff.
Resolution 28, 2015, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, approving the Palm Beach Gardens 5-year consolidated plan for 2015 to 2019, inclusive of the Citizens Participation Plan and Year 1 Action Plan, providing an effective date for other purposes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Natalie Crowley, Director of Planning and Zoning. I'm very pleased to be here this evening to present to you our very first consolidated plan that the city has ever done for the Community Development Block Grant. We are here presenting our consolidated plan and our 1-year action plan, and I'll go into a little bit more of detail in this presentation. A little bit of background on CDBG. It was established in 1974 to primarily benefit low to moderate income households in various neighborhoods. Previously, what we have done is entered into an interlocal agreement with Palm Beach County, and in doing so, that population has enabled the county to take that money and spend it throughout the county and disperse it as they please. The city has never received any benefit from Palm Beach County, and once we reached over 50,000 residents, we became eligible to directly contract with HUD so that we could have our very own CDBG program. So we did so, and we are moving forward, and in doing so, our population has enabled us to be entitled for $177,000 per year. What we're doing this evening is adopting the consolidated plan, which we will send up to HUD. This is created every 5 years. It's assisting the city to determine the various community needs. It includes citizen participation, which we have had done. We've had a citizen survey out on the website. We've had a citizen workshop engaging them and asking them for their feedback. We're also adopting our annual action plan, which is a shorter version of our consolidated plan. It supports the various goals and objectives, and it is our application itself that we send up to HUD to request funds. The program itself is very flexible. We can really target different areas. We can target different needs. If we want to use the funds more toward economic development in future years, we can do so. But what we would like to focus on this year is single-family rehabilitation projects. We feel that this will best serve the residents' needs. This goes hand in hand with the feedback that we receive from the various surveys that residents responded to. The qualifications for these funds tie directly to low to moderate income homeowners, which basically by that definition is 80% or less of area median income. And those would be eligible for CDBG funds. And an example of this are senior citizens who are on fixed incomes. Over 5 years, if you add up based on our population, the city will be eligible for over $150,000 of money that can be used toward these good causes. And we will continue to involve the citizens of Palm Beach Gardens each year as part of our public participation process. As you all are familiar with, we have a wonderful program with the city, which is our volunteer-initiated CAST program, our Community Action Support Team. We currently go out and we assist low-income homeowners to resolve outstanding code violations and improve their households. Ansley Marr, I think last council presentation, did a wonderful presentation, or maybe a couple meetings ago, on some examples that we have done. What we are able to marry the intent of this program with this CDBG. What this will do is it'll provide a steady stream of income for physical resources such as paint, so that we can use that money to be able to go out and use that money for rehabilitation programs. And this is just an example of one of our CAST program initiatives that we've done before. So like I said, our focus this year is on single-family rehabilitation projects. This includes things such as new roofs, plumbing and electrical, yard cleanup and landscaping, accessibility modification, and emergency repairs. And like I said, the program is flexible. It can be used for other things such as economic development in the future. We did have a survey posted online. We received approximately 23 results, which was pretty good for the time that we had it up there. And as you can see, 39% of the respondents did indicate that repairing substandard homes owned by households with low to moderate was a priority. So this really goes hand in hand with what our vision and our priority was, and we were happy to see that the public agreed with that. So the next steps include sending up this consolidated plan and action plan to HUD. We expect to receive funds in October, and once we receive the money, then we're going to have our application posted online, and we will delve further into the process. We'll receive the applications, we will vet the process, and in December we do have to submit another report to HUD, which covers our impediments to housing. So with that, staff recommends approval. I would like to thank Emily Garrett. She is here this evening for attending. They have been assisting staff with preparing the consolidated plan and the action plan, and she is with Caris Community Investment Incorporated.
Do we have to renew this every 5 years? Or is it, if we pass this tonight and we get the HUD grant, the block grant, it's good for 5 years? Is that
Yes. The consolidated plan does need to be updated every 5 years. So every 5 years we will review this, and we will have to resend this. And we will have to take action every year on the CDBG because we will have to send up our action plan. And that will basically set forth our immediate goals for the year, and then every 5 years we'll revisit our consolidated plan.
Okay.
And the amount is fixed for that 5 years? It can't rise with population increases?
It is based on population, so if for some reason our population continues to increase, that amount should adjust accordingly.
Oh, great.
Per year or
Per year.
every 5 years?
I'm not quite too sure on that. I think it's based on every 5 years, from what I understand.
Nonetheless, it's a win-win
Oh, yeah,
for
great.
everybody.
Fantastic.
It's really fantastic.
Absolutely.
It really is.
We've had people just recently,
Yeah.
in the last year, in Plat 1 and 4 and 6 and 3, asking for help, and the CAST group, the entire team who we truly appreciate, now has funds to help with all of their work. It's
Yeah,
great.
It's great we have a pool of money we can use when people are in need. It's great. It's a big, big win.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks, Natalie.
Staff recommends approval of Resolution 28.
Well, let's pass it. Chair will entertain a motion on Resolution 28.
Move Resolution 28, 2015.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Congratulations, that's a great job to everybody. I'm really excited for this.
Keep us in the loop, because we're going to want to go out too.
Are we going to advertise
We'd
this?
love
I
to do
mean,
that.
obviously, we're going to advertise this other than the website. Some people don't have computers.
Yes,
So-
I would imagine that Candace Temple will be able to use the information and post it on our social media, Facebook, as well as our website, and we can discuss other means of reaching out to the public to let them know once the applicant, first we really need to get the money from HUD before we
first we get
let
the
them
money,
know.
but-
But once we do that, we can definitely reach out to the public to let them know that the applications are open.
I'm sorry, one question on that. If let's say you have a bunch of applicants and the money needed is $300,000 and we're only at $177,000, will those applications be allowed to be carried over to the next year when the funds come available again, and to look at that again?
Yes, I mean, we'll have to go through the income verification because we'll have to make sure that the information is current.
Okay.
Right now, the way that the program is set up, it's on a first-come, first-served basis. But yes, most definitely, if for some reason there's a surplus of applications, those will be kept on file, and then we would contact those people for the next year.
That's awesome. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next is items for council action and discussion. We have any? No? City Attorney report? No report. Okay.
Move adjournment.
Second.
Move second, all in favor?
Aye. Nice job,
We're
Eric.
adjourned.